Yeah, so I'm Dr. Don Trahan, and I'm the Director of Diversity and Inclusion here at the College of New Jersey. So when I think about students of color in particular, I am also always processing what is it like to be on a campus where you're trying to conceptualize and really just be. And I think one of the challenges is being at an institution where students of color, the percentages is rather small in comparison to the larger population. And so it can be very easy, perhaps, for students to feel excluded in some ways, in terms of representation. And so I think that may be some of the challenges for many communities when they get to the College of New Jersey at large. It's their first experience with true diversity. And so I think very often what happens is that students may not understand what their unique perspective is and how that contributes to the collective culture of inclusivity, which is what we're really aiming to achieve here. But I think if you're only looking at it from a demographic perspective, it sometimes is that sense of, I don't see people who look like me. That could be in the classroom environment, that can be the representation of faculty and staff, and even in the community, because when you start venturing into specifics, representation is very critical for individuals to have a sense of belonging. And so on a very surface level, it can be this sense of, wow, I don't see anyone who looks like me, who I can relate to. And that could be very challenging. It could be cumbersome at the same time for someone to feel as though they belong and to feel as though their voice is valued. So I think that's on a very surface level some of the challenges and sometimes barriers that individuals are faced with. So what we're doing really is expanding the perspective of what does inclusion mean. It's funny, I just wrote this morning about this idea of reimagining the I in D&I, or diversity and inclusion, and really understanding the unique perspective of what is it to be like from one of these communities. How can we make sure that the fabric or the DNA of someone is truly embedded into what we're doing for I am TCNJ. I think that that's so invaluable that we understand their unique perspective. I think that it's also invaluable for us to be able to use that to guide. This is data right in our hands, at our disposal, that we can utilize to understand the unique perspective that members of not only the TCNJ community, but the Trenton community as well as Ewing community have based on their own experiences. So what we're doing is we're embracing that. We're asking the right questions. We're creating opportunities to have those inputs directly influence our infrastructure, directly influence our programming, directly influence the way in which we are bringing awareness to the campus, which extends into our surrounding the communities of Trenton and Ewing. So we are taking a very, very deliberate stance on, I want to hear from individuals. I want to have the opportunity to engage them. I want them to be a part of the initiatives. And once again, I am TCNJ, as well as the Diversity Advocate Initiative that we have launched, so that we can make sure that what we're doing is directly responsive to the unique needs of that particular population, which over time will influence the collective climate or a culture at the College of New Jersey. So that we're being very, very deliberate about engaging individuals from various diverse communities so that we can make sure we're listening effectively to directly influence what we're doing.
Thank you, Doctor.
Of course, of course.